Today's video is sponsored by Lasfit Auto Lighting. Well, today's going to be a fun one because I've got 3 brand new tools that I guarantee you either haven't heard of or seen before. So let's get into it. So I've been super excited about today's video, and that's because I've been collecting a few tools over the last few weeks. And all these tools are made by brands that I'm quite sure you've never heard of and you definitely haven't seen on YouTube. And innovative tools made by brands that I've never heard of are what excite me the most on this channel. So let's not waste any more time and dig into our...
Hey, cuz!
What?
Why you over there grinning like a possum poop in a peach pit? Hey, that's onomatopeter!
It's because I got all these new tools, and it's onomatopoeia, not onomatopeter.
That's not what they call it where I'm from.
You need to take an English class, dude.
English is as pointless as a tits on a boar hog.
Will you just hand me that next tool?
You know I got you, cuz. Here you go.
So our first item of the day is the Octopus Ready multi-plug charger. Let's take a look at it. Once you've been in the woodworking game for a period of time, you're bound to collect a bunch of different brands of batteries. And a frustrating side effect of having a bunch of different variety of batteries is keeping all those batteries charged. Not to mention, battery chargers take up a lot of space. In fact, I've even thought about building a battery charging station for my own shop. But what if you could eliminate a battery charging station and have one small area in your shop that could accommodate all your batteries? Well, that's exactly what this Octopus Ready multi-plug charger does. So let's open up the box and see what comes with it. If we open up the box, I think you'll immediately understand why they called this Octopus Ready. Inside the box, you're going to find the instructions along with a power distributor. You'll also find some fuses as well as 4 plugs. Lastly, you'll find the power cord. So how does this thing work? Well, let's first look at the back of the box to get an idea of how we charge the batteries. If we look at the back of the box, you can see a variety of different types of brands that this charger can accommodate, including brands like Makita, Bosch, Milwaukee, as well as DeWalt. But let's take a look at the structure of this charger to see how it works. First off, we have the power cord, and if we open up that power cord on one side, you'll see it contains a fuse. And this is an extremely important feature of this charger, as it prevents any damage to your batteries in case you reverse the polarities. It's that power cord that attaches to, well, the Octopus. And these two are attached by simply clicking them together using the one-directional attachment. With the Octopus, or what they call the multi-cable attached, we can now take a look at the plugs. And this is something that I was extremely concerned with when I first opened this tool. However, they've got a unique design that I think handles this problem. Now, if you're like me, you're probably concerned as to whether or not the two polarities can touch, creating a spark or even a fire. But fortunately, the design of this tool addresses that. Let's take a closer look. First off, on the base of the plug, the polarities are clearly labeled, with the positive being red and the negative being black. And each one of these polarities is on a hinge, which is pretty interesting. Each one of these polarities is able to easily move in almost any direction, but it's actually the hinge itself that prevents the polarities from touching each other. And the plug attaches in the same way to the multi-cable as the multi-cable attached to that power cord, using a one-directional connection point. And as I showed earlier, there's 4 of these plugs that attach in the same way, giving you the ability to charge 4 batteries at once. Now, I'm not an electrician and I don't pretend to be one. However, for me, I'm not going to have more than one of these plugs attached unless I have it directly attached to a battery. And that's because even though each individual plug has separation between the two polarities, if you have 2 going at once, I'm guessing they could cross-contaminate. But I suppose that's why that fuse is there. But once again, I'm not an electrician, but I did stay in a Holiday Inn Express last night. With the plugs attached, this unit is now ready to be attached to the battery. Now I have a real-life need for this tool, as I've got a DeWalt drill and battery but no charger. And this thing hasn't worked in ages. In fact, when I pull the trigger, all you'll see is a little light in front flash. So I want to see if I can bring this old drill back from the dead. First off, I'll remove the battery from the tool. Now I want to look for the positive and negative port of the tool. And this is typically clearly labeled on the battery, and it can be in different spots. In the case of the DeWalt, the positive is on the left-hand side and the negative on the right. So I'll then match up the polarities on the plug and slide them into the appropriate slot. With that being the only battery attached to the Octopus, I'll now plug the charger in. And with everything plugged in, you can see there's an LED indicator that will shine red until that battery is fully charged, and then it will turn green. But while that DeWalt charges, I've got some other batteries that need to be charged as well. And as I said earlier, you can do up to 4 batteries at once with this charger, and this thing can accommodate any 18 to 21 volt lithium-ion battery. So let's put it to the test and add 3 more batteries. And here I have a Milwaukee on the right, a Hachika in the middle, and an Alloy Man on the left, which is the same structure as Makita. And with the plugs attached to the battery, I'll simply plug them into the Octopus. So I'm going to let that sit for a bit and see if I can finally use that DeWalt again. Now that it's been a couple of hours, I'm going to pull this DeWalt battery off and see if we can get this drill running again. So a pretty cool little gadget for those of you that may have lost a battery charger or just want to lower your footprint on your battery charging station. But I will have to once again emphasize the importance of paying attention when you're using this charger, especially with having the open prongs that will have live current running through them. It's definitely a charger that needs to be watched and handled with extreme care. Well, that's going to wrap up our first gadget of the day. Our next item is going to be a much more common tool and probably a little bit safer.
You looked more nervous using that tool than my ex did in church.
Got that right. Which ex you talking about?
Who do you think? Bessie, of course. She may not look like much, but she can suck the chrome off a trailer hitch.
I'm not even sure I know what that means.
I'm not sure I do either.
Just hand me the next tool.
You know I got you, cuz. Here you go.
So this is the Blackzero Drill Set. Let's check it out. Before I dig into any of the details with this tool, I first want to say that I'm extremely impressed with the carrying case that the tool comes in. This stackable and lockable case is even nicer than the sustainers you get with festool. On the side of the tool, you'll find a latch that allows you to stack more accessories. And on the front, the tool is clearly labeled and there's an open button. So let's open this up and see what's inside. And as you can see, this is really quite remarkable. There's almost every single drill and driver bit accessory that you could possibly imagine. Before we take a look at this compact drill, let's take a look at those accessories first. And the first 2 words that come to my mind are organization and versatility. Inside this case, you're going to find a charging cable, drill bits, a step drill bit, a rotary drill bit holder, a 1-inch screw set, a nut driver kit, a 1/4-inch extended bit holder, a 2-inch magnetic Phillips screwdriver bit, a 2-inch screwdriver set, and the drill itself. And all of this neatly organized and labeled so that you know exactly where everything's at. And there's so many different types of bits, I'm not even sure I've seen some of these or even know what they're called. But none of those bits matter unless we're dealing with a high quality tool. So let's take a closer look at the drill. My first impression of this drill is it's by far the most comfortable drill I've ever held. It's a lot less chunkier than other drills that I have, and it's got a very comfortable pistol grip. A lot of that has to do with it not having a big chunky battery on the bottom like you see with most other drills. Instead, it's got a removable battery that's incorporated into the handle. And this tool comes with 1 replaceable battery, but you don't need to remove it to charge it. And that's because at the bottom of the handle there's a USB-C to USB-C charging port, along with a battery LED display light. Now let's take a quick tour of the physical construction of the tool to see what features it has. Now one thing that's kind of nice about this tool is that even though it's compact and only has a trigger handle, it can actually stand on that handle. If we look at the very front of the tool, there's a very large bright LED light that illuminates where you're working. And this light is activated by the trigger and stays on for approximately 10 seconds after use. If we look at the side of the handle, you'll notice a little light that goes back and forth between green and white. It's this button that actually changes the rotation of your bit. When the light is green, it will move in the forward direction, and when it's white, it will move backwards. Now let's take a look at the controls of this drill, which are pretty unique. To control the drill, we need to look on the back side. On the back of the drill is a touch screen that has 3 modes. It's got a screw mode for small, medium, and large screws, a drilling mode, as well as an automatic mode. And each one of these modes adjusts the RPMs to the appropriate levels anywhere from 0 up to 1000 RPMs. And the tool has a 16.8 volt brushless motor. Now this is way too short of a video to do a scientific test on this tool. However, I can drive in a couple of screws and drill out a couple of holes. And I'm really just doing this to get a quick feel for the tool's performance when I compare it to some of my other drills. So I'll first drive 3 screws into this 4x4 and see if it bogs down at all. And I'll have to tell you, the torque on this drill was quite impressive, just as good as any other one of my drills. And you can see it had no problem sinking each one of those screws well below the surface. But let's test this drill out on a gnarly piece of walnut. And once again, consistent results with all those screw heads being nice and even. Lastly, let's test out its drilling capabilities with its largest drill bit, a 5/16 inch bit. And we'll just test it out on the walnut. If it will go through that, it will go through the pine. And that went through beautifully with no bogging down at all. Well, I am really impressed with this Blackzero drill. I'm going to make this my primary drill for the next few months and report back to you to let you know how it goes. Before we move on, let's have a word from today's sponsor, Lasfit Auto Lighting. So if you haven't heard of Lasfit before, they're an amazing online vehicle accessory company that specializes in things like vehicle mats as well as auto lighting. And Lasfit accommodates almost every single make and model vehicle you can imagine. In my case, a 2019 Dodge Ram 1500. Just take a look at this amazing website and see how you can really dial in the exact vehicle that you have. They have everything from a Ferrari all the way to a Kia. And once you select your year, make, and model, these parts come quick. I received mine within 2 days of ordering it. So let's take a quick look at what I ordered. For my vehicle, I chose the LA 1105 LED bulbs. As you can see, this came packaged extremely well, and the instructions are extremely easy to understand, giving you step-by-step instructions as well as having pictures to assist you with the installation. Now those instructions are great, but there's something even more valuable on their website. Lasfit has an amazing catalog of videos that show you the installation process right on the same page as the product you order, which is excellent for somebody that's not a gearhead like me. I did this whole installation process by watching those videos. So let me take you to my truck and I'll show you exactly how I installed these bulbs. So after popping the hood, I quickly removed the headlight and got these bulbs installed on one side. Now these LA Plus series have the newest technology flip LED chips. This supports farther and brighter visibility via 6000K cool white light. These bulbs have an upgraded heat dissipation system that ensures that the LED bulbs will be more stable and have a longer lifetime. The bulbs also have a 360 degrees adjustable socket for adjusting the beam pattern. And with their shorter size, it's a real quick installation without struggling. It's a truly plug and play install in just 4 easy steps. And after I got one side of my vehicle's bulbs installed, you can really tell the difference between my old bulbs and these new LA Plus series. And after I got both sets of bulbs installed, it was literally a night and day difference. Well, I couldn't be more pleased with this whole installation process, and I think these new bulbs will be a complete game changer on my truck for years to come. So I'm going to leave some links in the description below so that you can go check out Lasfit's amazing website and see if there's any upgrades you'd like to make for your vehicle. Thanks so much to Lasfit for shedding some light and sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to it. Well, that's going to take us through our first 2 gadgets of the day. Before we move on to our third, I ask you to do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and leave a comment. It really does help out this small woodworking channel. Only about 20% of you that watch my videos are actually subscribed, and by hitting that subscribe button, you can really help this channel grow. Also, if you like any of the tools we're taking a look at today, make sure you check out the links below to see how you can get your hands on any of these tools. Lastly, if you haven't been to my website in a while, check out www.flynndogwoodwork.com. I've just recently added a lot of new merch and I've lowered the prices on a lot of my items. Plus, there's free shipping with all orders and there's a lot of fun items out there. Well, that's enough of that. Let's move on to our third item and see what it's all about.
You almost done with this video? I'm so hungry I could eat the south end of a northbound mule.
I said we're on our last tool.
Let's get some chicken after this. I'd be on that like a hobo on a ham sandwich.
Will you just hand me that next tool?
You got it, cuz. I'm on it like a pack of dogs on a 3-legged cat. Here you go.
So this is the Huepar 4x360 Laser Level. Let's check it out. Have you heard of Huepar? I know I hadn't, and that's exactly why I thought I'd check out this 4-plane laser level. Once again, this is another tool today that's starting out strong with a hard shell carrying case. And just like our previous tool, this thing comes packed with accessories. It's got a remote, 2 batteries, a scissor lift, a clamp, a charger, and the laser level itself. Now you may be saying, great, another laser level, and I totally get that. However, for a tool to be shown on this channel, it's got to have some features that set itself apart. And luckily enough for Huepar, it's got some of those features. But before we talk about those, let's take a look at the tool itself. Now, as I said before, this is a 4-plane laser level, which in my opinion is the only way to go if you're in the market for a laser level. For those of you that aren't familiar with what a 4-plane laser level does, let's do a quick overview. 4-plane laser levels are all about the lasers. They have 2 vertical lasers as well as 2 horizontal lasers. Now, most laser levels only have 3 lasers. They have 2 vertical lasers as well as 1 horizontal. But 4D laser levels add another horizontal laser to the very bottom. And it's by having those 2 horizontal lasers that really make these tools a game changer. Having 2 horizontal lasers makes layout for things like switches and outlets a complete breeze. But let's take a quick tour of this Huepar laser to get a better feel for its construction. On the left-hand side of the tool, you're going to find the power switch as well as the pendulum lock. And not only does the laser flash when that pendulum is not level, but you'll also hear an auditory alarm. On the right-hand side of the tool, you'll find a covered USB-C charging port. Not only can you charge the battery with the battery inside the tool, but you can also keep this tool powered indefinitely if it's connected to a power source. If we look at the top of the level, you'll notice that there's a backlit LED display. And this display shows the battery level, the pendulum locked and unlocked status, the X-axis tilt angle, the Y-axis tilt angle, the XY axis tilt direction, and the pulse mode icon. And right underneath that LED display are 3 buttons that are pretty self-explanatory, including the horizontal laser line switch, the vertical laser line switch, as well as the on-off button, as well as the pulse mode button. Now let's get into some of the features that I think really set this 4-plane laser level apart. The first thing is its keychain style remote. This simple remote has a lot of options, including a lit green on and off switch. Not only that, but you can also adjust the brightness of the laser with the brightness adjustment button. And you'll also notice the horizontal and vertical line switches. And at the bottom, you'll notice the pulse mode button. There's also 2 buttons on the very bottom that are called function buttons, and these are for future upgraded versions. Now, a lot of those features are things that are pretty common on laser level remotes. However, there is one feature that I haven't seen on any other laser level. And that is that this remote is rechargeable. There's a little USB-C port on the side of the remote so that you don't have to worry about batteries. Not only that, but there's also an interesting power source for the laser level itself. Now, if you remember from earlier in the video, I said that this tool comes with 2 batteries, but that's actually not true. There's something that I thought was a battery that's actually not. What I thought was a battery is actually a battery compartment that holds 4 AA batteries that you can run this tool on. If you open up the very bottom of the level, you can slide that battery pack into the battery compartment and run this tool completely off-grid. Lastly, before we take a look at the accessories, let's take a quick look at the brightness of the laser. And it's probably a little bit difficult to show here, but the laser on the right is the Huepar, and it's significantly brighter than one of my brightest lasers. Now let's take a quick look at some of the mounting tools that come with this laser. First off is the scissor lift, and this is a must-have for any laser level. This allows you to make micro adjustments to the height of your laser quickly and easily. Next up is the mounting bracket, and this has got more adjustments than I've seen on any other mounting bracket on the market. Not only is this thing magnetic so that you can attach it to any magnetic surface, but it's got a ton of micro adjustments with its rack and pinion system. With just a turn of the knob, you can move this thing up and down, left and right, and even side to side, making this one of the most versatile clamping racks I've ever seen. Well, that's going to do us for today, folks. I really hope you enjoyed checking out these unknown tools and brands. I really had a lot of fun today, and I hope you did too. Well, thanks so much again for joining me today, and if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and leave a comment. It really does help out this woodworking channel. Also, make sure you check out my website, www.flynndogwoodwork.com. There you can find all sorts of fun woodworking accessories like all the t-shirts that I wear in my videos. Until next time, take care as always. Thanks again to Lasfit for sponsoring this video. To see how you can get some of their amazing vehicle accessories like the LA Plus series that I installed on my truck, check out the links in the description below.